Your media, where you are.
Usually, what is not foreign to us is a lifestyle where, with young professionals, we go to work. Life is about going to work, coming back from work. We wake up, we go to work, we eat, and we don't mind what we eat. Sometimes we're not even conscious of the lazy habits that we pick up, and before you know it, you wake up and you're overweight and you even battle to make it past two sets of stairs, and which is something a lot of people can relate to. Today, my guest, Ntsako actually has a lot to talk about and to share about his journey from an overweight couch potato to a plant-based ultra marathon runner. I must say myself, I first met Ntsako when we were playing soccer, and I mean I saw a fit lean guy, and when I heard that Ntsako used to be an overweight couch potato, I was like, "There's absolutely no way, no way, no way, no way." But before he shares his journey with us, he'll tell us about who he is, where he's from, how he got here, and how is the full experience as we are. This is Plant Power with Mawethu. Ntsako, welcome.
It's a way. How's it?
No, all good, can't complain. How are you, man? Hope you're keeping safe.
Thanks.
No, great stuff, great stuff. So, who is Ntsako? Tell us where you're from, and and how did Joburg come about? I mentioned Joburg. Stage is all yours.
Yes. So my name is Ntsako Maduleke. That's my VIN number. That's the one in the ID book. 35-year-old, happily married father of two boys. I was born and bred in Limpopo, so I lived most of my life in Limpopo, Malamlele to be precise. So my childhood went to primary, high school in Limpopo, Malamlele, and then I went to varsity in Durban, KZN. I studied there, and I moved to Pretoria. I think it was around 2007 when I moved to Pretoria as a young professional in the IT space. So I'm an SAP consultant, and I've been in the IT space ever since for the past almost 14 years. So growing up, I was very active. I played soccer my entire childhood. I played soccer in the juniors until I got to varsity. I played soccer in varsity as well. But when I finished varsity and I started working and I started affording a little bit of stuff here and there, the active lifestyle kind of fell off. So I stopped playing soccer. And the only exercising I was doing was walking around the Chisanyamas and getting into the car. And so like you said, before I knew it, I had picked up quite a lot of weight. At one point, I think I was weighing almost 100, and I'm now sitting at like 65 kgs. Yeah. So
65.
I'm currently weighing around 65. So I had picked up a lot of weight. It looked like I had swallowed my twin brother. So as you said, when life happens, these things happen very quickly. You get into bad habits. You live a lifestyle that's not structured. You eat out. You just get a takeaway here and there. And at the time, I was not married, so I was still young. When I started working, I was around 21, 22. I was not married, so it was that lifestyle of hanging out limajita, going to Chisanyamas, just not eating right. Until 2010. That's when I made. So before we go into it, basically that's me in a nutshell. I'm now a runner, a full-time runner. I've been for a couple of years. and I still play soccer as well.
Perfect. Yes. I met you when we were playing a soccer tournament, and I mean that's when I heard about your story, and it was quite intriguing.
Yeah.
Now I need to let's get to the point where what got you to saying, okay, you need to do something about where you found yourself. What inspired the change?
All right. So around 2010, we were coming out of a very hectic festive season, and in
Yeah.
January I could feel that yes, I'm struggling here. Pen size, I'm now asking for big pens, and I could see that yeah, this is not me. I'm tired all the time, and I decided that you know what, let me cut out a bit of meat for like a week or 2 weeks and see what that does, because I was like tired of eating dry meat and all that. So my
Yeah.
journey was more of I got into plant based by chance. I didn't
Okay.
research it. I just thought, let me try this. Let me see how I feel after like 2 weeks and detox a bit, and then I'll get back into it. And then
Yes.
after 2 weeks, hey man, I felt great. I felt
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Yes.
and I used to have breakouts like these funny pimples that come up in the face, and after 2 weeks, those things had cleared. You know,
Yes.
and I was feeling good. I was a bit energetic, and and at that time I was still very heavy. I was almost 100 kgs, and I thought,
Sure.
could this be a fluke or there's like something into this thing? And at that time I hadn't started researching it or what's going on. So I thought,
Yes.
you know what? I told my wife, let me just extend it a bit for another 2 3 weeks. Let's see what happens. And I did that, and after 2 3 more weeks, yes, I was feeling great. I was sleeping like everything was just my overall health had just improved drastically in a space of a month. You know, and I told my wife, you know what? I've made a decision. Let me cut out meat for like a year. Let me see what happens, because I'm feeling good. Everything is just like I'm 100%. I'm still the best I've felt in a very long time. And that's how it started. And for about a good 2 years, I was not eating meat. I was not full on vegan. I was not on plant based 100%. So I cut out your traditional meats, so your chicken, beef, fish. I cut out all that, but I was still
Okay.
eating eggs. Yeah, I was still eating eggs, cheese. So I was still taking some products that are, have traces
Yes.
of animals. And then
Yeah.
after about a year and a half, then I started researching it, and I could see that I dropped probably about 10 kgs, if not
Yeah.
15,
Sure.
without changing anything, just cutting out meat completely. I
Yes.
dropped drastically. I lost a lot of weight. I felt like I had to change my whole wardrobe, man.
Yeah.
So it was a very costly experience. So yeah, and then after a year and a half, I started reading about it, and I could see that no, man, my health has improved. I don't struggle with flu. I don't struggle with anything. It's just I just feel great, and I was motivated to start
Yes.
running as well. You know,
Yeah.
so and then I decided to cut out all animal products altogether. As I started reading, and I could see the health benefits of going plant based 100%.
Yeah.
So I cut it out. I think it was around 2012. I went full on plant based, and I've never looked back since. Yes, I don't know when last I've felt any funnies or struggled with constipation or anything like that. I normally make a joke with my wife when I go into the loo. You can come in and out. You won't even smell that there was someone in the loo. That's how clean my system is.
Perfect.
So yeah, so that's how the journey started. It was by mistake, and yeah, it was an awesome mistake. Not mistake, but it was just yeah, one of those things.
Yeah. I think it was a much needed transition. Uh, the one thing that you mentioned is that I mean, your metabolism issues. I think that's one thing that actually bothers most of us, and because a plant-based diet is actually a fiber-dense diet, and that's one of the first things that you notice. And once you in that mode, then you're bound to definitely shed some weight, definitely. And then you transitioned while married already. You know, you met this person, and you guys were on a normal, conventional Western diet, which is obviously the South African diet is basically the standard American diet. Uh, and then the challenges in terms of transitioning alone, and in terms of getting the full support from your spouse. How did that come about? I mean, when there any challenges? How did that? I mean, just take us through that specific moment.
It's quite interesting, and I get that question a lot because my wife and kids are not are not full on. They're not into what I'm into. But because I do it religiously, they find themselves 50% of the time being on plant based. Um, so how it happened? I've been with my wife now for I think about 20 years. We were together in high
Yeah,
school, so she knows me
yeah,
from when I was very tiny. I was playing soccer, and then I ballooned, and I changed my diet. So we've been together for quite some time. It was easy for her to support me because she understood where I was coming from, and she could see that this thing is really working for me. And another thing
yeah,
that made it easy for us is there's quite a lot of family members that one has lost through your diabetes, through things that
yes,
I
yes,
believe
yes, yes,
one could have avoided.
yeah,
So when I made the transition, it was very clear that this is where I want to go. If my family is not there yet, I do not force them to. I even dry meat for them. I mean,
yes, yes,
we,
yes,
we,
yes,
we,
yes.
we all walk our paths, but most of the time they eat a lot of vegetables and fruits because
Yeah,
that's what the father is doing. So when it comes to support, my wife is 100% behind me, and yeah, there are no issues, and it's easy to make vegetables, man. My meal, to prepare my meal, doesn't take a very long time, 5-10 minutes, and I'm sorted.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
another advantage. I mean, you actually do not even. I mean, 5 minutes, sometimes max 20 minutes, and then your meals are ready. Okay, and now you you've transitioned now from being Ntsako, who is inactive and overweight. You now are Ntsako, who is plant based. You've lost weight. Now you're a social person, of course, because I mean you've mentioned the issues of chisanyamas here and there. Sometimes your circle of friends around you do not understand why would someone quit meat, right? Uh, and people don't quite fully get it, until you do it. I didn't get it until I transitioned. Uh, Now, tell me, did you then encounter any trolling around, or was it just a smooth transition outside the household now, like in your social circles with the friends?
yeah, you know how Majida are. Guys will always ask, so what do you eat? So traditionally, people believe that a plate of food must have meat. So there's no,
Yeah,
and a simple example, if you go to like a wedding or a funeral, and in a queue in a serving point they run out of meat, the whole queue will stop. It's as if food they've run out
yeah,
of food. There's no food anymore because there's no meat. They have to wait for meat to come, and then they
yeah,
carry on. So I usually got that a lot. A lot of people would say, "Hey, but you don't eat meat. What do you eat?" And I'll just tell them that you dish up for me, but you remove the meat, because also people who eat, they don't just eat meat, you eat other stuff. So you dish up for me, but you take out the meat, and then that's my food. So I got that a lot. A lot of people would ask me, what do you eat, how do you survive, aren't you bored? And I don't do it for any other reason but for the health benefits that I've seen. There's no doctor that told me to stop eating meat. I just saw the health benefits myself. And another thing that I want to mention is this thing of eating right has got a domino effect. So if you start your day by eating right, you're most likely gonna do a lot of things in your day structured. For instance, I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke. And all these things happened because of one decision I made to correct my eating.
Yes.
So it didn't make sense for me to carry on taking other things that I know are bad for my health, whereas I'm ingesting plant things, I'm eating food that is good for me. So I had to make a decision then and there to say, yes, but I'm eating well and my health is going great. Why would I now drink alcohol? So
Yeah.
at that time where I stopped eating meat, I also stopped drinking alcohol as well. So from 2010,
Yes. 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 Yes.
drinking alcohol and yeah, so everything else, drinking your fizzy drinks, having your fizzy drinks. So as I said, it's got a domino effect. So all the little bad habits that we had picked up, or I had picked up, kind of fell off because of one major decision that I made to eat right and to just have a plant-based diet, wire. So yeah.
Okay. Now you've got kids, right? And then what happens? Do you raise your kids plant based, or do you try to create a balance, or has a whole family now transitioned to this lifestyle? How did you go about that one?
Right. So I understand people are different. So my kids and wife as well, they're different. So they take a very long time to move into thing. But ultimately what I would want to see is my entire household doing what I'm doing because I've seen the health benefits. So
Yes, yes, yes.
as it stands, groceries still normal, but about 70% of what we buy is plant-based stuff, and about 30% is that I cannot impose my lifestyle on anyone, but I'm slowly getting them into it. But the
Okay, that's
idea
fine.
the idea is to have them where I am because I've seen that.
Yeah, for me, I think it would only be fair and logical to actually help the whole family transition, because you've seen the benefits. You are living proof to that, and you could actually help your children avoid a lot of lifestyle ailments that they could encounter in the long run. That's what I've seen. So even with most people that I know who have been vegan, who are raising families, ideally they also take that route to their children. And I mean, it's exactly because we know that a lot of
Most
these
definitely. Most
ailments,
definitely.
yeah, the lifestyle ailments that are there are actually ailments that can be attributed to bad nutrition. So the only response to these lifestyle ailments is to a better nutrition. There's no other way around it. Yeah, no, thank you for that. And then we continue
Most
now.
definitely.
Yeah. So you're quite an active person. You play soccer, you run, and when I say run, I mean I've seen you on the road. You don't just run. You're quite a beast on the road. Now you grew up playing soccer. Uh, you
Yes.
probably were not a runner growing up. Uh, Take us through that. How did that come about? Now, okay, how did you go back to
Yeah.
soccer, and how did you start getting back into running? Well, starting running into where you are right now.
All right. So how it happened is in 2010, when I changed my diet completely,
Yeah,
I was left with all this energy because now I'm eating right. And to be honest with you, yes, it's the energy. The energy levels just go up, eh?
yeah.
So I had to burn that energy somehow. So I went back to playing soccer again, but soccer for me was not enough. I thought I needed to complement it with something else. So I thought, let me add a bit of running so that I'm fit when I play soccer, and people can just chase me the whole time. They won't catch me. So when I went into running, I got addicted to running because, yes, like I said, the energy levels are just on another level, and injuries as well. I was not getting. I mean, I had stopped playing soccer for a while, and when I got back, and my diet was plant based, I was not getting injured, and I was running. So I would play soccer in the afternoons and run in the mornings, 6 days
Yes,
a
yes,
week.
yes, yes.
You know, and to me, it didn't. My body was not taking a strain at all, and I told my wife that yes, it's this plant-based diet as something else because I'm not feeling tired. I'm not burning out as I thought I would.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
from there, I got hooked into running, and I play
Yes.
soccer as well. So I do both of them, but more running than soccer at the moment.
Yeah. No, 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 no.
So I would honestly attribute it to. No, carry on.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And then, what was your first major race that you prepared for in your new, let's say, life as an endurance runner? And from then, I wanted to then continue. So you've got your first race that you prepare for. You're a runner now, right? Let's say you started doing your 5Ks, your 10Ks. There's that one specific race that you
Yes.
want to do. And then take us through that all the way to your first ultra races. I mean, you did on the dam, which is I think 50, and then you did the ultimate human race, which is the comrades. I mean, that is big. Doing and finishing the comrades is, I mean,
Yes. Yes.
it's superhuman stuff here.
Yeah.
Take us through that.
Yeah. All right. So I started, like I said, I started joining here and there, but at that time I didn't even have a running watch. So I would just run. I didn't even have proper shoes. I probably was wearing shoes from Edgar's just to jog, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one guy told me that there's a Jacaranda race that's happening in Pretoria. It's a 42 kilometers, and I had never ran 42 kilometers in my life. The most I was
Yeah,
doing was about 25, maybe 30 here and there, but I was quite fit, and because I was eating right, I felt like I could do it. I could go there and run. So I decided to go. I think it was 2017 or 18. I can't remember. It's about 4 years ago. Yeah, I decided to go and run Jacaranda City 42 kilometers. Um,
yeah.
and a friend of mine borrowed me a watch, his running watch. Was it a running watch or did I use a phone? I can't remember, but I didn't have proper equipment. I was just running,
Yes, 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 yes,
and
yes.
I ran it
Yeah.
in 2 hours 51 minutes. Right,
What?
and after I finished running in 2 hours 51 minutes, I didn't even have a club. I didn't know those things. I was not into, I was not aware that there are clubs. There are, those kind of things. I was just running for the fun of it. And when I finished 2 hours 51 minutes, there's a guy that lives around my place. He's a runner and he's been a runner for quite some time. And he said, "Man, your first 42 kilometers, you did it in under 3 hours. You must join a club." And
Yeah.
he wrote me in, he got me into Manoni running club. And he said, "You need to run, you're very talented." And in my mind, I'm just running because I've got all the energy from being, I'm not burning out energy. I just run, I'm enjoying it. So when I joined Manoni, they started talking about running comrades and all these other races. And I thought, you know what? Let me go for it. Let me see what happens. And I started training, and then at that time, I think when was it? I want to say 2018. That's when I started running, having programs. But I was training myself. So I'd have a proper program to say I run 10 kilometers in the morning, I'd run 5 in the afternoon, and then weekend I'll run a longer yana distance, those kind of things. And the next
Yeah, yeah,
one I ran was 3 months later from when ran the first one. From when I ran Jacaranda City, I ran Omdidam.
yes, 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 yes.
I think it was around March 2018, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. And at that time, I had already registered for Comrades. So
Yes.
as soon as I joined Manoni, 2017, I think it was around December, I think it was around October, November. I immediately registered for Comrades. So I was hyped up to get into Comrades. Yeah, you're preparing for Comrades. So March, I went and did Omdidam, 50 kilometers. I did it in 3 hours, 35 minutes. 3 hours,
Sure.
35 minutes. And
And that is 50 kilometers. That's a yeah.
Yeah, that's 50 kilometers. And at that time, my knowledge of running was very, very limited. Uh, I just knew I put on my running shoes, I wear my watch, and I get on the road. Um, so quite a lot of things I didn't know. I didn't know about running injuries. I didn't know about that. I was just running. So I trained for Comrades, but as the Comrades was getting closer, I was still playing soccer as well. And I would get injured playing soccer, but I wouldn't think. And so at that time, I didn't think the injuries were serious until I got into Comrades. Um, so I ran Comrades first. I think first half of the marathon or of the first marathon, I was fine. But the second half, I started seeing old injuries that I had picked up. So I had to slow down drastically from the target that I wanted. That was my very first Comrades. So I walked, probably I jogged, easy jog for the last 40 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken. And my finishing time was 8 hours, 45 minutes. So I got a Bill Rowan. Um, yeah, but there was quite a lot of lessons that I learned from that. Yeah, it's been a very interesting journey. My recovery, when it comes to recovery, so I will, let's say I run a marathon on a Sunday. A lot of people would take about 2-3 days until they recover fully. The following day, I am 100%, and I tell them it's the food I'm eating. There's nothing. I don't take supplements. I do not take anything other than my plant-based diet. That's the food that I eat.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, and to be honest with you, I've never felt this great my entire life. I've never felt this good. Even running, I never thought I could enjoy running, but because of how my body works, I've got my energy levels are way up. I've got energy to run and play soccer. I mean, there's a time where during this before the lockdowns, I would run at 21 kilometers in the morning, and then morning session I'll go play soccer with the guys, and in the afternoon I'll run 10 kilometers. It's still fine every day, you know.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a very interesting, yeah. So the idea, in running is I've got a couple of what I would like to do. I would like to run a sub 230 one day. Very soon I'll run a sub 2 hours 30 minutes, and I also wanna get my silver. Comrades still owes me. When I went there, I was a rookie. I made a lot of running mistakes. I didn't have a lot of knowledge. I just felt I could go and just run it because I'm strong. But yeah, I had to go back and learn a few things. So as soon as everything opens up, it's me and the road.
Sure. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you say 251 for a
Oh, and
42. Oh, sorry. Okay.
sorry, wait. And another. No, no. I just wanted to mention another one I ran. I enjoyed. Was Soweto Marathon.
Oh yes, 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 yes,
My
yes.
first one, I ran it in 3 hours 5 minutes. Yeah, and the reason
Sure.
I ran it that slow is because the day before I had done a training run with some guys for we did 45 kilometers the day before. So
Yes.
when I ran Soweto Marathon, I was a bit tired, but I did it in 3 hours 5 minutes, and I enjoyed it a lot. I also ran Irene Ultra, which is 48 kilometers. I ran it in around 20 something minutes. But all this, honest with you, were to what so what I eat makes me feel this good and makes me to be energetic and the way I do. I mean, even when I play soccer, I'm and I enjoy it. You know, it's what you are what you eat. So what
Yeah,
you
true.
eat is the
Definitely.
biggest part of who we are, honestly speaking. And I didn't have to read that. I didn't have to read that from any book. It's something that I
Yes.
saw me now personally with my life. I could see the changes. I could see my performance at work. I could see how I would be able to work like late nights and still be fine and wake up in the morning and run and my energy levels will still be up there, you know.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you mentioned the issue of energy, vitality, which is something I can attest to. I mean, I've been on a non-vegan plant-based diet, and I am currently on a plant-based diet, and I can tell you, I attest to a lot of things that you've just mentioned. The one thing that stands out is when you mention the issue of recovery. I mean, in your run, your body gets inflamed. So it is only sensible to recover quicker when you eat anti-inflammatory foods because your body you've got that whole lactic acid. So it is only sensible that your recovery is going to be it's going to speed up simply because of that. I mean, I've seen you on the road. You're something else, but I'm still not surprised, but amazed at the fact that you say you did your first full marathon at 2:51. That is amazing. I think I did my first full marathon at 4 4 hour 30. Yeah, 4.5 hours. That was my first full marathon. But I mean, with me, there's three disciplines that I do. I swim, I cycle, and I run. But I can tell you, all those things that I did, the three disciplines that I did when I was on omnivorous diet, I can actually tell you, I attribute the improvement a lot, not just to the fact that obviously you get better in any code with time, but central to it is obviously the dietary issue. Now, Ntsako, last year, out of a moment of insanity, I pronounced that I'm going to do an ultra marathon, a double marathon in one day. The 84.4 kilometer in one day. You were you were one of the people who were running with me. Fortunately, I was strategic enough to get people who have finished the Comrades Marathon and other ultra marathons to actually run with me. The runners were running with. I mean, those guys helped me, with a lot of technique, because when you run, you just run. But if you run with people who have finished Comrades, I mean, that we've got Gogo, we've got C, your Siwelas. I mean, those guys are not novice when it comes to ultra marathon. And for me, it was actually easier to train those people. I saw you running. You ran the whole day. You probably ran about 100 kilometers, that day, or probably close to 100 kilometers. I battled after the first half. After the first half, I battled.
Yes.
I can tell you, if I was running that race alone, I would have bombed out. So fortunately, I had people who who have finished the Comrades, people who were actually quite skilled and they know how to derive race strategies, and they took me to the finish line. At no point did you look like you were battling. No point at all. You were so calm, collected. There was a time where you ran and you guys were 5 kilometers ahead of us, and they had to call you guys back. You guys didn't get in the car to come back. You ran back that 5 kilos and you joined us and you went back again now. So that's why I'm saying you most probably didn't run. You probably ran close to 100 kilos. And I know the following day or 2 days later, you were running again. Now. So yesterday. Yes. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Ntsako.
Yes, the line is a bit bad, Wewe.
Okay, sorry. I think yeah, I got you back there. Yes. No. But I was just basically talking about
Can you
what was happening last year. Having witnessed how easy and you were in control. You were in control. You didn't look like you were in any kind of discomfort. You know, that's fitness accumulated over the years. Uh, but would you then say a plant-based lifestyle takes you out of the conventional, contemporary uh, lifestyle recommendations when it comes to endurance? For instance, you'd be told that you need to train for a certain number of weeks for you to complete a half a marathon. You need to train for a certain number of weeks for you to complete a full marathon. You need to train for X number of weeks for you to complete an ultra marathon, a double marathon. You probably would have a different uh, perspective. I mean, I, for one, I trained for 9 weeks, even though I battled on the race. But a sports physician would actually say to me, rather train for 20 weeks or longer. What's your take on that?
Oof. Yes, I think I've got
Sorry?
of the question. But you're asking about would I recommend plant-based diet for someone who's training for a marathon or any distance they want to do? Is that the question? The line bit bad up.
Yeah, look, no, I was actually focusing mainly on saying if you're on a plant-based diet, uh, you then fall out of the conventional recommendations by sports science that say you need to train X number of weeks to run a half a marathon. You need to train X number of weeks to run a full marathon. I've seen it with myself. I trained for 9 weeks to run that double marathon, and before that, I'd never run a the longest that I've run before that was 30 kilometers. Even though yes, I battled
Yeah.
during the actual race, but the reason why I battled could probably be attributed to the fact that I wasn't cross training enough. I didn't build enough strength in terms of could be that. But yeah, what's your take on that?
So with running away, there's a bit of science behind that. I mean, with myself as well. Um, I've gotten to understand my body a lot better. I also don't like strength training, and that's problem comes in. So your training, core training, like you're saying, is very vital. For me, when I ran my first marathon, I had never even done sit ups or anything like that. All I used to do was just wake up and run and those kind of things. So with plant-based diet, my recovery is quick, but you need to add something else. Like you're saying, cross training and having a strong core is very vital when it comes to running, especially when you're running long distances. So for your body to keep up or with to endure the pain, you need to have done quite a lot of cross training, and your core
Yes, yes.
must be very strong. So you see your planking as those things that I've been told that I need to do. But with running, it's a different. But I've seen that with the little cross training that I do, I managed to do fine with my marathons and
You seem to have lost Ntsako. Let's try to see if we can get him back again. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we seem to have lost our guest. Seems like technology became the enemy today. But I think we were actually nearing the end of our show. We're actually covering Ntsako Mandeka's journey, how he transitioned from being a lazy, overweight couch potato to being a full ultra marathon runner. He's shared his journey. He's taken us through his recommendations. He's taken us through the whole outlook on veganism as a family man, as a father who's raising children. Ideally, what he would love for his family to actually transition fully to this lifestyle. It's unfortunate that we couldn't wrap it up with him, but I mean, we're actually nearing the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in. This is Plant Power with Mawethu. Catch you next time. Thank you.